In the world of feathers and flight lies a scholar in disguise whose intelligence can challenge a young child's. Who could it be? The Einsteins of the sky? It had never crossed a million minds that the humble crow had won the prize. Contrary to popular beliefs, one of the smartest animals is perhaps unexpectedly the crows. Crows are mischievous, playful, and extremely intelligent. According to a study published in the Current Biology journal, the crow brain is the same relative size as the chimpanzee brain. So, forget about your stereotypical thoughts. Join us as we uncover the astonishing mental capabilities of crows, revealing a side of these intelligent birds that goes far beyond their black feathers and haunting sounds. Crows belong to the corvid family, which also includes ravens, rooks, jays, jackdaws, magpies, treepies, and nutcrackers. Due to their unappealing appearance, we have been mistakenly labeling these intelligent birds with darkness, troublesome, and witchcraft, probably also due to the mischievous roles they always get in the movies. But thanks to scientific researches, we have found proofs to debunk all myths about them. Scientists have been scratching their heads in amazement at what these corvids can actually do. The level of intelligence varies between the species, but scientists have found that the New Caledonian crow deserves the first spot in the A-list. So, how do we even measure intelligence in birds? We can't give them a written IQ test, right? Well, researchers explore their exceptional brain power from the aspects of problem-solving skills, memory, and their interaction with each other and their environment. And crows have been acing these tests, while many birds have mastered the trick of dropping hard-shelled nuts from the air, using gravity and the ground to do the hard work for them. Crows have been seen taking this step to the next level. In Japan, crows place walnuts on roads so cars will crush the shells, then wait for the green traffic light to safely collect the opened nut. They follow the safety rules just like humans do. Well, not all humans. When it comes to tool making, crows are the real DIY masters in the avian world. Just like our fellow primates, many corvids use tools to obtain food, but the New Caledonian crows craft their own tool. In the wild, the New Caledonian crows would trim the leaves off a stick and even create their own hook-shaped tools from twigs, leaves, and thorns to dig out food from those unreachable corners. In controlled experiment, they can bend pliable materials into hooked tools and also create new tools from two or more otherwise non-functional elements. This was shown in an experiment where the crows were given a covered box with a piece of food situated far behind, a few of short sticks as a tool. Without prior training, these crows know to attach short sticks to longer sticks to reach their reward. It's like watching a feathered MacGyver in action. This is a clear sign of spontaneous meta-tool use, which is the ability to use one tool on another, an ability so far observed only in humans and great apes. It may seem like a simple task, but to do it without using hands? We've got to give it up for the crows. But wait, there's more. By referring to Aesop's fable, The Crow and the Pitcher, researchers had brought this folklore into reality when the New Caledonian crow passed the water displacement test. In the first experiment, the crows were presented with some stones and two different tubes, one filled with water and a treat, the other filled with sand and a treat. In order to obtain the treat that was too low to reach, the crow showcased its amazing intelligence by dropping stones into the water-filled tube to raise the water level and grab that tasty treat. It didn't waste any time on the sand because time is money, and crows know better than that. In another trial where they were presented a tube filled with water and treat, but this time with objects of different densities. And just like a pro, they went for the sinking, solid ones. Basically, anything that'll make a bigger splash than a cannonball at a pool party. These trials demonstrated the crow's abilities in both problem-solving and tool use. The scientists believe that their skill level at deciphering and completing these tasks is similar to 5 to 7-year-old children. Who knew crows are way better than we could imagine at making plans for the future? And the best part is, when it comes to social learning, they don't just learn tricks and keep it to themselves, they pass on their knowledge to other crows. One crow figures out how to use a tool, and soon enough, its friends are doing it too. It's like the University of Crows up there in the trees. When we think of smart animals, dolphins and chimpanzees often come to mind. But it turns out crows stack up against these creatures surprisingly well. In one of the episodes of BBC series Inside the Animal Mind, a crow proved its capability of solving an 8-step puzzle. This test was believed to be one of the most complex tests on the animal mind. Although seeing this puzzle arrangement for the first time, the crow could study each step well. It was confused at first, and suddenly, something clicks in its mastermind. It slowly worked its magic to complete the task by connecting every step to achieve the final goal. Isn't that incredible? In another study, researchers presented the birds a locked box with a special treat inside, and the correct tool to unlock the box, a few distractor tools, and an immediate food reward, but not as good as what's inside the locked box. Instead of going for an easy option, the birds took the risk by choosing the correct tool to open the box with the better treat. This might seem like a simple process, but it's rather complex. The ability of thinking ahead and reaping the rewards later is not common among most animals. They've got some impressive analytical skills up their sleeves, or feathers in this case. Humans will only start to show this ability at the age of 5, and even so, this doesn't apply to all children. For some, it takes a few more years. In addition to that, most adults don't practice this often in problem solving, let alone using common sense in daily life. These mental skills certainly set crows apart from other animals, with their actions and abilities more in line with the smartest primates. But it's not just about solving puzzles. Crows also exhibit complex social behaviors and communication skills, aspects of intelligence that we usually associate with larger-brained animals like dolphins. In fact, the way crows learn from each other and share their knowledge is incredibly similar to what we see in some primate communities. Crows have a complex social structure which involves communication, relationships, and even politics. It's like watching a feathered soap opera. Crows are incredibly social. They form tight-knit families and larger communities, kind of like our neighborhoods. They work together, protect each other, and even hold funerals for the dead of their relatives. When a crow dies, others gather around the body. It's not just curiosity, but rather a solemn moment. But here comes a plot twist. A Corvid researcher at University of Washington explained that what seemed to be likely a mourning session could also be a danger learning session. So, while we're here thinking they're shedding tears for their fallen feathered friends, they're actually studying the cause of death as a precaution to make sure they're not next. Now that's an important note to take on the lesson of life. Do you know that the noises of crows that you often find annoying are actually a secret communication code? Crows are good communicators. They use a variety of sounds for various purposes, such as warning calls, food calls, and even crow chat. They even have different dialects. The remarkably loud caws, clicks, rattles, and coos they make imply different messages to their gangs. So, how do these intelligent birds get along with us humans? It turns out the relationship between crows and people is pretty fascinating. Crows aren't just living in our world, they're actively engaging with it. They're like our nosy neighbors, always watching and learning. Crows can mimic more than 100 different sounds, including human voices and the sound of other animals.
Where's Walter? You don't know? Oh, no.
Although they can't do it as perfectly as a parrot, and they don't understand the voices they replicate, maybe it's just them flashing their adaptive skills. You might not realize it, but crows are paying attention to us. There are stories of crows bringing gifts to people who feed them regularly. And it's not just random stuff. These gifts are often shiny or colorful, like they know the way to a human's heart. It's their way of saying thank you, which is pretty thoughtful for a bird, don't you think? But here's something even more incredible. Crows can recognize individual human faces. That's right, they know who you are. If you're nice to them, they remember you as a friend. But if you're rude to them, well, let's just say they don't forget that either. They communicate with each other about who to trust and who to watch out for. Back off, bullies! Turning our focus to how we, as humans, influence crows, it's clear that our impact is significant on them. Crows are highly adaptable, which means they've learned to coexist with us in urban environments. But this relationship is a double-edged sword. Urbanization presents both challenges and opportunities for crows. On one hand, cities offer abundant food sources and fewer natural predators. As a result, crow populations in urban areas have been on the rise. Studies in certain cities have documented a steady increase in crow numbers over recent years, indicating their successful adaptation to city life. However, this adaptation comes at a cost. Crows face threats from pollution, habitat loss, and even conflicts with humans. In some regions, these factors have led to declines in crow populations. Our actions have indirect impacts on crows as well. Climate changes and human activities on ecosystem disruption affect the availability of resources and habitats for crows. This signals the importance of considering our environmental footprint and how it affects everything around us. As we can see, crows are not just ordinary birds. They are living works of art, a testament to the beauty and diversity of the natural world. They also play a significant role in our ecosystems by helping in seed dispersals and pest control, making them valuable contributors to the balance of nature. The sophisticated life of crows is a shed of light on the unacknowledged geniuses of wildlife, a reminder of our connection with nature. It's time to raise our voices and rally behind these magnificent creatures, for they deserve our admiration, our protection, and our undying respect. Let's protect Mother Nature as we listen closely to nature's speech.